My name is Marta Arguello. I'm the Executive Director of Physicians for Social Responsibility, and I've been here about 21 years. And when I first started, I was just doing toxics work, and now I'm responsible for the entire organization and have been really committed to bringing the idea of prevention and moving upstream to all of the work that we do, whether it's toxics, climate, water, nukes, all of that. And we're working to achieve a healthier, more sustainable world, a regenerative economy, and to make sure that the health voice of physicians and health professionals are supporting community struggles and frontline communities.
My name is Paula Torrado, and I am the Air and Toxics Policy Analyst at PSR-LA. And I'm also the Californians for a Healthy and Green Economy, or the Change Coalition coordinator that has been deeply involved with Coming Clean and the toxics work around the Louisville Charter and bringing safer alternatives to fundamentally shift the way chemicals are managed and produced and extracted in California.
My name is Michael Rincon. I also go by Mikey. I am the policy researcher at Physicians for Social Responsibility Los Angeles. I am also our water program lead. And for our water program in particular, we've been working in the communities of Southeast Los Angeles around the human right to water. So making sure that community members have access to safe, clean, and affordable drinking water. But however, there are a lot of obstacles that prevent community members from receiving that quality of water, even though that California has some of the strictest standards and regulations around drinking water. We've also been working on trying to find a way to address PFAS in drinking water. And during a time when the state is currently going through a drought and water security is very limited, it's really important to make sure that we address water quality threats where possible, because based off of the way that things are going with the drought, we need to make sure that water is healthy for every single community member.
I was at that very first meeting in New Orleans of Coming Clean, and so we did a lot of the pre-work. We did a screening of Trade Secrets, which was the show that a lot of the Coming Clean folks were organizing around. Many communities across the country organized viewing parties. I organized one in LA, a little local restaurant here, and it was just really interesting to bring all the clean air folks that I've been working with to this meeting, to the viewing. And then I went to the first meeting, and like I said, it was my very first. I've been at PSR maybe a year and a half, not even 2 years. And it was my first national meeting as we were expanding our work from pesticides to incorporate other toxics work. I think one of the accomplishments that I'm most proud of is helping start the fence line action work group of Coming Clean to create a space for environmental justice communities to have a conversation about toxics. And I think we helped in many ways move away from some of the very narrowly defined sort of consumer approaches. And for us, it's led to saying, we can't just shop our way out of the problem. We actually have to move upstream and change how they're produced, change the culture so we're not so based on consumerism of things that are highly toxic. So what's also been really amazing is now I've been at PSR for over 20 years, and our organization has grown, and I've been able to introduce sort of the next generation of toxics advocates that are working with PSR to this network, and they've been able to access those connections and relationships. And so it's been a great place of mentorship and development for PSR as a whole.
I've been at PSR-LA for almost 3 years, and with Coming Clean, since change is definitely a connection to what the work that Coming Clean is doing. I do remember that meeting that we had in Louisville, and we discussed sort of deconstructing and going deep into what it meant to have safer alternatives and how often that term is coined and co-opted by different things. And so just really understanding what it meant to be safe and that we can escape our way from chemicals, and that's the narrative that chemical industry has, and how to get out front of that, of clean production and economic justice. And the frontline voices are driving what it's the upstream movement that Martha's talking about, like driving towards upstream and sort of eliminating the paralysis by analysis that the toxics advocacy has. And that was really important to me, for me to learn, along with understanding the importance of the Louisville Charter for prevention. And so that's a platform and that Coming Clean and Martha definitely gave me. And I think an accomplishment that I want to highlight is the webinar that we did in collaboration with EJHA, and that a lot of Coming Clean members attended to last year on climate toxics, and I can't remember what it was called, but I know it was around building, working towards decarbonizing, detoxifying, and democratizing the economy. And there was a huge turnout, and we could talk freely and in depth about the intersections of climate and toxics.
I'm a bit newer to the network. I think I've only been part of it for a few months now. But for me, someone who's a very big nerd around information and data and knowledge, I think that since I've been part of the Coming Clean network, I have reached out to a couple members here and there, asking about their perspective on a couple of questions that I may have. And I've had a lot of interesting conversations and a lot of kind of moments. So I think just being able to access all the experiences, all the stories in one group of people, it has been very, very beneficial.
We've been doing a lot of work around oil drilling and keeping fossil fuels in the ground. And yet we know that we can keep them in the ground. Well, if we don't keep them in the ground, they will end up either as transportation fuels, or they'll end up as petrochemicals, or they'll end up as plastics. So we are getting better at being able to work across those fields. So, we have a campaign to end oil drilling in Los Angeles. We are now helping shape a coalition effort to bring EJ communities to work on plastics at different places in the fence line, right? From the oil drilling site to the refinery site to the waste to energy site, so that we're working all along that from production to disposal, so that we can actually advocate for more zero waste policies and more policies that are actually transformative. I think we are starting to see real opportunity to bring those together.
PSR-LA brings the strength of not only a strong understanding of prevention, but also the credible voices of physicians to advocacy, which in this climate, it's so important to bring the connections of health and prevention to this climate of of conversations to address climate change, toxic exposures, localized exposures, and also to uplift the frontline voices in community decisions making and policy decision making, to ensure that we avoid unintended consequences of policies, and that environmental justice principles are at the center of policy making. And I think PSR-LA brings that force to the movement, in addition to working directly with community-based organizations that bring in the frontline voices to the work.
And when it comes to the opportunities that come up around water and toxics, I mean, it's water, there's always something going on. You're literally putting out fires every single day, because like I said, like last year it was a pandemic, and making sure that people had access to safe drinking water and access to water, because the prevention of preventing further spread of COVID. This year it's all around the focus of the drought and making sure that the water quality is up to date, because in past years, even EPA allowed for lesser quality water to be served during drought years. So I think we just kind of bring an interesting perspective and a connection that maybe some other folks may not have the opportunity or the capacity to really be involved in. So, and I think
it's a really tough question in the middle of a pandemic after the IPCC report and the last couple of weeks of fighting off really bad false solutions to climate change, which, you know, tell me that the balance of power is still not on our side. So I think, you know, we've got a lot of organizing and power building to do. And I think Coming Clean allows us to do that at a national level and at a really sort of, you've got researchers, you've got advocates, you've got NGOs, and then you've got, you know, really grassroots community-based organizations fighting particular battles. And so I think that that structure is what we need to do, but at a larger scale. Because, you know, the oil industry and the chemical industry are finding ways to survive despite the fact that their products are killing people, and they're very good at it, and they have a lot more resources than we do. So I think I won't be here in well, maybe, I doubt it, but I might not be here in 20 years. So what I would love to see is I would still like to see PSR being a champion for environmental justice. And I would like to have some more wins under our belt, whether that's, I mean, really sort of smash, not sort of, we just need to smash it. I think I joked at the Louisville meeting that we wanted to Hulk smash the chemical industry. But I think we do need to really disentangle the power of these industries in our politics, because it's what is literally choking us. So I hope we build that kind of power, and, you know, because we don't have a lot of time to waste.